Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad to be here with you guys on this lovely Sunday afternoon. How is everybody doing today? So glad to see we've got a lot of first timers here for our behavior binge bonanza. So far we've had 3 people sign up today that we're gonna have on stream. Actually, I think we have 2 more slots available. So if you would like to sign up and come live on stream and choose the topics that we go over today, there are, I think, 2 more slots available on the shop, and I can send you the Zoom link real quick to get that going. But yeah, we've got Robin coming on at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then, we've got Jeanette coming on at 2 p.m. Eastern, Robin's coming on at 2:20 Eastern, and then Lillian's gonna come on at 3:20 Eastern. In these behavior binge bonanzas, I like to choose cool topics. So we are going to go over stimulus equivalence training first. I made this PowerPoint a while ago. I remember when I made it, actually, it was for a course that I used to offer. It was the Tough Stuff course. And I remember I had like an error or 2 in it, so I've been like shy to show this off. But I just looked at it. I corrected one of the errors at least. I unfortunately didn't get to look through all the examples, but hopefully they are good enough for us today. Hope y'all are having a really good weekend so far. Sorry if I'm a little bit off today. Me and my partner just broke up on Friday, so I'm a little sad right now. But I'm gonna try to not let that show. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun today in this bonanza. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you'd like to join me for the coming on live on stream, then yeah, let's do it. Come on. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Yeah, it sucks, but we're here. We're here to talk behavior. We'll get over that later. Sweet. Well, yeah, let me pull up my PowerPoint first, actually. So here, Lillian's got a bunch of topics, and then Jeanette and Robin were just ones to sign up recently. Let me pull up my PowerPoint. And we're going to talk about stimulus equivalence first. Okay. So, yeah, stimulus equivalence. About stimulus equivalence training. So, what we're doing here is that we're teaching relationships between things that are stimuli that represent each other. So they kind of represent the same exact thing between each other. And so here's an example. If we have the letter A, capital A represents pretty much the same thing as a lowercase a, and that's the same thing as the vocal sound A. So what's cool about stimulus equivalence training is that we can teach some relationships, and that will allow other relationships to generate kind of on their own. It's pretty neat. I think this is what really makes humans different from a lot of different organisms, is that we just create relational responding really easily. So we're always making connections between things. And think about other organisms don't necessarily do that. So we think about even your dog all the time. Yeah, there's probably a million ways that they could access more food, and obviously that MO for food is there for our dogs, but they don't really have the relational responding to always get it. Sometimes they get sneaky and they learn to jump on the counter, or sometimes they learn how to open up a cabinet door, but those things kind of take a while to develop, where if you see a toddler in a similar situation, toddler's gonna figure that out pretty fast, how to get their stuff. And that's just a very young human that's not very mature and knows anything. If you give an adult that wants food, they're gonna find it. So what's cool about stimulus equivalence training is that we can teach some relationships, and then we can expect other relationships to derive just from that. Usually, especially in context of the BCBA exam for stimulus equivalence training, we're looking at this and matching to sample trials, but this is not always the case. And when we're looking at our triangles, we're going to be drawing a bunch of arrows on these triangles. And when we're drawing the arrows, we should draw them from the antecedent and move it towards the response. So if I'm going to draw this arrow here, this would be that I'm showing the big A as the sample stimulus, and then the little a would be the response or the stimulus that we would be matching to within the array. Reflexivity is a prerequisite skill for relationships to be derived. Does anybody know what reflexivity is or could describe reflexivity real quick in chat? Rihanna, if you want to choose topics, sign up. I'll post the link for that too. There's 2 more slots if you want to come live on stream with me. Or if you just want to choose the topics too, we've got 2 more slots available for that on the shop. So feel free to purchase that if you want to choose the topics later. Lily and her dog perked up when I said food. That's funny. Yeah, so good. Reflexivity, we're looking at identity matching. Good. I really like the term that Lillian used there, identity matching. So identity matching is that we're matching the same exact stimulus to itself. So A to A. And this is a required thing. So if we were to draw the reflexivity relationships on our triangle, they would kind of be like a little circle. So it's like we're matching the same stimulus to itself. That would be like our reflexivity. So essentially we need to have reflexivity or else these derived relationships are not going to actually be derived. There's a couple ways that we can have derived relationships and we'll talk about that in a sec. But again, reflexivity is just that generalized identity matching. So in general, can you match the same thing to itself? Yeah, I've always really liked that one too, Amanda. She's saying like reflexivity, like a reflection in the mirror. That trick has always helped me a lot too. All right, let's talk about the types of relations. So first off, we have trained relations. These are relations between stimuli that are explicitly taught. So this is going to be important, and usually on our triangles, we're going to denote these with a solid line, where our derived relationships are usually going to be noted with a dashed line. A derived relationship is a relation that is generated from previously known relationships. So looking at this triangle, we have 2 trained relationships, but we're actually able to derive 4 more relationships on this triangle, giving us a total of 6 relationships. So that's pretty neat, where it's like we can teach 2 responses, and then we actually get 6 responses out of it. That's really efficient. And that's cool. And if we can like increase the efficiency of our training, then there are people we work with are gonna like have capacity to learn more because they're learning faster, and that's good. We want that. And there's ways to test for the appropriate derived relationships after training. So let's go ahead and we're gonna draw out the different kinds of our derived relationships now. The first one is symmetry. And people really think I think people overthink stimulus equivalence a lot, but really there's only 2 patterns that you need to be familiar with. The first one is symmetry. So let's go ahead and look at this. Symmetry is when we have the opposite of a trained relationship get derived. So we have this relationship here. Remember, we started with our antecedent, so we gave them the big A, and now they're matching to the little a. That's what we taught. A symmetry relationship, this could be the opposite of this. So this would be that we give them the little a, and now they are matching it to the big A within the array. So even though it kind of looks like the same thing, it is the opposite. So we're starting with a different antecedent and we're moving to a different response. That's the derived relationship there. So whenever we have this derived relationship, when it's like the exact opposite of a trained relationship, that is always going to be symmetry. So look for like that opposite railroad tracks, the opposite train tracks. That is the pattern that you always want to see for symmetry. So we'll have one side being trained and the other would be derived. So given that, there's one more relationship that can be derived via symmetry here. So I want you guys to put in chat, there's one more relationship that can be derived via symmetry. So we said this one was derived via symmetry. So little a equals big A. What other relationship can be derived via symmetry on this same triangle? Good, yeah, like where we're going. Again, we're still looking at symmetry. So which one is going to like create that opposite railroad track pattern? Okay, looking good, looking good. So again, it's going to be the exact opposite of this other train relationship. So the one that we're looking for, oh, let me just make sure I got my pen now. Oh no, here we go. There we go. Okay, so we're going to draw this relationship, and our arrow is going to head towards our little a. So this would kind of be like the listener responding version of this, is that they say a, and then they select the little a. So again, we want to look for that exact opposite of the trained relationship, and that's going to be our symmetry relationship. Good job there. Most of y'all got it, but hopefully if you didn't get it, you can see why you erred there. So again, we want to go opposite here. So we have the saying A is our antecedent, and then they're selecting the little a. So this is kind of like our listener responding response. Yeah, and Cindy's asking, is this known as mutual entailment? Yes. So if we're looking at RFT, which is relational frame theory, they also talk about stimulus equivalence, and we'll talk about that a little bit too, because they hit on it in a little bit more complex way. But essentially, they are going to they have different terminology. So mutual entailment is essentially symmetry when we're talking about RFT. So pretty much the same thing. And then transitivity is pretty much the same thing as combinatorial entailment. So I think we'll take on that a little bit more later. But yeah, if you see those words, don't be too scared by them. They're pretty much the same thing. All right, let's talk about transitivity now. Yeah, Gail, we're getting there. So transitivity is when a relationship is derived relating two unrelated stimuli via connections with one stimulus and the other two. Like, wow, that's a mouthful, and it totally is. So easier thing is I just wanted you to like see this pattern, and the pattern is going to be two legs makes the third. So we have two trained legs, and that's going to derive the third leg of our triangle. So if we have either of these responses getting derived, let's see those in chat. What are one or both of those responses that could get derived here? So if we see either of those get derived, then we would know that that occurred via symmetry, because that's the pattern that we see, is that the two legs makes the third. So if you take anything out of this stimulus equivalence training presentation, I want you to just memorize these two patterns. Symmetry is going to be opposite train track, so opposite of a opposite of a trained relationship is derived. And then our transitivity is going to be our two legs makes the third pattern. So we teach two legs, and then we have our third get derived. All right. Cool. Yeah, nice. Gabby's got both there. Serena's on her way to both. A lot of good answers here. Love to see it, everyone. Good job, Brittany. Good job, Gail. All right. So yeah, this could be either of these bottom relationships. So we present the big A, and then we have them say A. Or we could say A and have them select the big A. Also, like, when you're saying these answers, I think it might be better to say them out, like what is actually happening, rather than just like the shortcuts, like A equals A or whatever. So like we present this and then they're doing this. I think that helps you like see what's actually happening and get this to be a little bit less abstract too. So that'd be another one of my tips, is trying to like really spell out what you're doing. So instead of just saying like A equals A or whatever, it's like, hey, we're presenting the little a, and then they're selecting the big A. So that might help you out a little bit. Yeah, Gabby is asking a question, and that is actually the very next point on this slide. So, stimulus equivalence, this is when all 6 of the relationships have been demonstrated. So, in this triangle, we would say that we have stimulus equivalence. I think what's really important in the questions is to identify, like, if they're asking about a single relationship or if they're asking about the entire situation. So if they're only asking about a single relationship, then you need to look at like what caused that relationship to get derived. And the answer is probably not going to be stimulus equivalence. But if they're just like what occurred in this scenario and they showed all 6 relationships get derived, that's when you select stimulus equivalence. All right. Let's go over a question answering process. And then we're going to get through some examples. We've got Jeanette coming on pretty soon, so we might only be able to get through like 1 or 2 of these, but let's see what happens. Here's the process. So first of all, like we've talked about this a million times, the first thing that you want to do when you get into any question is you want to identify what it's asking about. So in stimulus equivalence relations, we want to see like which relation is the question asking about, or if it's asking about the entire thing. First thing you want to do is put those stimuli on the triangle. Does not matter where you put these on. And trust me, you are not too good for the triangles. I'm not too good for the triangles. I've been doing this for a dozen years and I'm still not too good for the triangles. So you are not too good for the triangles. Draw these out. Use your time. Another thing I'll add in here is that if you're a slow test taker and you're worried about time and you get to a stimulus equivalence question and your pacing is already a bit off, flag it and move on. This is not worth your time. Stimulus equivalence questions, make sure you have 3 to 5 minutes to spend on it because they're often not easy and will require that extra time. So if you're pressured on time, I just say flag it and move on. Like just doing this is not worth it. Like you're way better off just like not saving yourself the stress, even guessing and just going on. And that's only if you're pressured for time. But if you're here to actually solve it, then here's how you do it. So first step, identify the relationship, and then we're going to throw those stimuli in the triangle. What we want to do is we want to scan to see if that is a derived relationship or if that's a trained relationship. We'll put it on the triangle, and then we'll plot that relationship. Then we want to scan the question and look for another relationship that involves the same exact stimuli that where the question is asking about. We'll also want to scan if that is derived or trained. At that point, we can check if it's symmetry, if symmetry is occurring or not. And if it's not occurring, then we want to scan for the third stimulus related to the other 2. So note, like we're not like taking the whole question apart. We're really trying to like narrow in on what is relevant because a lot of like the trickier test questions, they might have like up to 5 stimuli in the questions, but only 3 of them are going to be relevant. So if you start on the question and work backwards, then you're going to save yourself a lot of time and make it less confusing. Once you've scanned for that third stimulus and identified any relations, you want to plot those relationships, then we want to look for those patterns and then solve the question. So again, we want to disregard any irrelevant relations. Oftentimes questions will have many relationships that they discuss that are just like not relevant at all. All right, let's go through one question and see if you guys can give this a go. After successfully teaching a child that a picture of a dog is the same as the written word dog, and that the written word dog is the same as the spoken word dog, the child then demonstrates that the picture of the dog is equivalent to the spoken word dog without direct training. What does the relation between the picture and the spoken word dog represent? So yeah, check this one out. If you buy the notes, I'll screen cap that question answering process for you, and those will be in the Behavior Binge Bonanza notes. You guys know I'm off today because I haven't even like pitched anything yet. But if you want to get the notes from today, they'll be available on the shop. Actually, they are available on the shop right now. You can purchase them for $5, and I will send them out later tonight. And, we have really good mock exams here, and we'll probably give some stuff out. We like to do that here. So yeah, at some point today, we'll probably give out at least 2 ultimate BCBA mock exam bundles. If you have either component, so it comes with the mini mocks for mastery as well as the Beat the Beast teaching mock exam. If you have either of those components but are missing one or want to take the Beat the Beast again, you're welcome to participate in the raffles today to win the part that you're missing. So yeah, that would be super dope. All right, I want to see some triangles. I want to see some rationales. Yeah, Gail's asking a good question. If they say they just learned it, or if they just like the behavior came out of nowhere, that usually is a good indicator that's a derived relationship. And you know, one thing that helps trigger giveaways at these behavior binge bonanza events is if we get a lot of likes on the video. Right now we've got 71 people here, only 19 likes. Like I think I cranked it up a little bit, guys. And who knows what will happen if we get that up. All right. Cool, let's go ahead and run through this one. So if you didn't do your triangle, we'll run through how to do the triangle on this one. So first off, what we want to do is we want to look at what the question is asking about. So it says relationship between the picture and the spoken word dog. So we have the picture of the dog. This is my dog. That's Lexi. She's cute. And we have the spoken word dog. So first step, we're going to throw these on our triangle. Oh, shit, we just more than doubled our likes. Okay, you guys are for real. I know, isn't she cute? She's my baby. She's on the bed right next to me. Anyway, so yeah, we're looking at this relationship. So we want to first see, is this relationship trained or derived? So we want to kind of scan this. Is there anything that would indicate trained or derived here? So we see picture, same as the written word dog. Okay, that's different. Written word is the same as the spoken word. Okay, that's also different. So it looks like, yeah, and it says, then the child demonstrates that the picture of the dog is equivalent to the spoken word dog without direct training. So picture of the dog equivalent to the spoken word dog. We're going to start our arrow here and know that this is a derived relationship. Okay, so we know it's a derived relationship. So yeah, and it's not a reflexivity relationship, so we can cross that out. Now what we want to do is we want to look at if these 2 stimuli are involved anywhere else in the question. And we saw like these first other 2, like they didn't have anything that had both of these stimuli in play. So that shows me that like there's probably not there's not symmetry occurring. So what we need to do now is we need to look at if there's a third stimulus that relates. And that there is. It's going to be the written word. So it says the written word is, the picture of the dog is the same as the written word dog. So we have this is our trained relationship. And now we have the next one where it says, the written word dog is the same as the spoken word dog. So that would be this one. And now we can see that we very clearly have our transitivity pattern. So we have our 2 legs makes the third, and that gives us to our answer, transitivity. Awesome, awesome. Well, if it makes sense later, we'll get back to some more of these examples. I've got a few more for you, but we do have Jeanette here in the waiting room, so I'm going to let her on in just a second and let her lead the show. Okay, let's get Jeanette in here. I'm trying out something new, getting her on the stream. Hey, Jeanette, how's it going?
It's good. This is the first time doing this, so I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. I've got you on the Zoom call. If you want to turn your camera on, I'm trying to get you onto here as well. But yeah, how's it going?
It's going. It's good.
Good. I'm glad to hear. What are you feeling today? What do you want to go over?
I mean, I like what we were talking about, the transfer stimulus equivalent. That's my main um confusion, so we can keep talking about that. I'm okay with that.
All right,
That
cool.
was
Yeah.
my number one thing to go over with.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, we've got a few more of those examples. Do you want to work through those together?
Sure.
Sweet, let's do it. Well, yeah, let me share. I'm gonna share my screen over so you see me in real time, or see everything in real time. And you can turn the stream off. And I think we've got. Oh no, I got repositioned again. Okay, we'll get you back on here. All right, I think that's gonna be good. Okay, cool. Well, welcome aboard. I'm so glad you signed up, Jeanette. Let's get into this. So, we did this one. Did you have any questions on this one with the dog?
I mean, listening at your example just to begin with, I never thought about the six ways. I just honestly thought it was one, two, three. So it's
Yeah.
kind of opening a little bit more to kind of understand this topic. So I was just going along with whatever you were saying and taking it in.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, to kind of like recap this one, so we had our two train relationships, and the question was asking about this derived relationship. So what pattern did we see here? Did we see the train tracks, or did we see the two legs makes a third?
The two legs make the third. Oh
Yeah,
no, oh wait, two legs make the third. Yeah,
good, good, good. And yeah, what is that? Two legs makes a third again?
transitivity.
Transitivity, awesome. So yeah, we have the two train legs, and then that derives that third leg. That gets us transitivity. Honestly, I think the hardest part about stimulus equivalence is just getting the information down on your triangle accurately. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just like the practice makes perfect here. So always get your triangle out and just go through the relations one by one, and hopefully that process will lead you through it too. Do you have any questions on this process before we get into the next one?
We can move on to the next one.
All right, sweet, sweet, sweet. Let's check it out. So we've got this one. During a language development session, a BCBA works with 6-year-old Tina to associate feelings with facial expressions and descriptive words. Tina learns that a smiling face is equivalent to the feeling of happiness, and is also taught that the feeling of happiness is the same as the word happy. Towards the end of her session, her mom walked into the treatment room. Elated with joy, she ran and jumped into Mom's arm for a hug and said, "I'm happy." Mom Avi started bawling, which best describes what occurred when Tina said, "I'm happy," after seeing her mom. All right, cool. So where should we start here, Jeanette?
Um, so showing the session words, the facial expressions of the words.
Yeah. So like specifically, like which stimuli are we starting with? Let's look at that last sentence.
So the feeling of happy.
Good. Yeah. So yeah, it's like the feeling of happy. And then what's our other one?
And knowing the word happy.
Yeah, and then saying the word happy. Good. So we've got happy feeling. It's something that they're experiencing, and then we have the like saying the word happy. Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. So in the question here, like which way did this go? So did we experience the happy feeling first and then say happy, or did we say happy first and then experience the happy feeling?
I would say she experienced the feeling first and then said happy when she saw her mom.
Good. Yeah, she experienced it first and then said happy. So we know that our arrow needs to go this way, but we're not sure if it's trained or derived yet. So we just know the general direction. So we know it's generally this way. All right, so let's look at our prompt now. Was this a trained relationship or a derived relationship? So feeling happy and then saying happy.
That was
Let's look into the prompt, like which sentence describes those two
that was a derived with when it says elated with joy, she ran and jumped into mom's arms and said, "I'm happy."
Yeah, did this occur anywhere earlier? This same relationship?
Mm,
So yeah, we have this one here for sure.
Tina learns that a smiley face is equivalent to a feeling of happiness.
Cool. So does that relate to these two stimuli?
No.
No, that one doesn't. What about the next part?
Mom, mom started falling. Where it says mom started uh maybe where it says mom Abby started bawling.
How about like right after that? So it says Tina learns that a smiling face is equivalent to the feeling of happiness. What's after that?
And also taught the feeling of happiness is the same word as happy.
Good, 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 good. So yeah, she's taught that the feeling of happiness is the same as the word happy. So is this a trained relationship or a derived relationship?
Trained.
Yeah, it's a trained relationship actually. So, how do I erase things on here? But anyway, yeah, this is not a derived relationship. It is a trained relationship. Can we answer our question?
I think it's symmetry.
Not symmetry.
It's not reflectivity. I know that one.
Yeah, not reflexivity.
Yeah. So transitivity.
Not transitivity. So,
So there's
so what do we have here? Do we have
oh,
the
because there's no yeah, I see it now. I'm sorry.
yeah?
There's no
So do
direct
we have opposite
relationship
train
with
tracks?
function.
Two legs makes the third, or no pattern?
Yeah, there's no derived relationship. There's only trained.
Good. Yeah, the answer to this one is going to be D, that
Mm,
there is no
okay.
derived relationship. We saw the same relationship that occurred was actually a trained relationship. She was feeling happy and then she said, I'm happy. That was something that was explicitly trained. So we did not have a derived relationship. So we did not have any of these things occur.
Okay. Is this just going back and breaking that question into a million parts?
Yeah, for sure. But notice here, like we didn't have to consider the smiling face at all. So when we start like looking at like kind of like looking at what it's asking and then working backwards, a lot of the times we can filter out the unnecessary information really easily.
Okay.
So yeah, note that like we didn't have to like worry about the smiling face at all. We didn't have to put that third stimulus on the triangle at all. Cool, cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's check out this next one. Hopefully this one works out. I haven't looked at it in a while, so hopefully it's good. So we've got in a learning session with 8-year-old Ravi, the BCBA is focusing on word to picture matching for vocabulary building. Ravi has been taught to select the written word cat when shown a picture of a cat. Ravi is also taught to read the written word out loud as cat. Later in the session, when presented with the picture of a cat and asked to select the written word from a list, Ravi successfully selects the word cat. Which relationship best describes Ravi selecting the word cat when presented with the picture cat? All right, so where should we start here? What do we need to do?
So word to picture.
Good, yeah. So, yeah, we're looking at selecting the word cat when presented with the picture cat. So we're going to put the word cat and a picture cat on there. And which way does that relationship go? Should we draw it down, up, or up, down?
It's a learn one. So it's word up down.
Okay,
So from
so yeah,
cat
let's see.
from the word cat to the picture cat.
So he selects the word cat when presented with the picture cat. So yeah, we're going to start up here and then we're going to go down. And now we want to look at was this trained anywhere or is this a derived relationship?
It was taught, so it was trained.
Where do we see that it's taught?
Where it says Robbie has been taught to select the written word cat when shown a picture of a cat.
Good. Yeah, perfect. He's seen right here. He's taught to select the written word cat and a picture of a cat. Can we answer this?
Okay, reflexivity is not reflexivity, so it's process of elimination. I know it's not A. It's not D. Hmm.
Why not D? See, we're involving two stimuli, so that's why not A.
Right.
So think about those patterns again. So symmetry is going to be train tracks. Transitivity is going to be two legs makes the third.
Okay.
And then train relation essentially just means that's not a derived relationship.
So it's not a derived relationship, so it's a train relation.
Good, yeah. Final answer?
D.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. Sorry, I think this is wrong. This is wrong on here, but it definitely is just a train relationship. So answer here is going to be D, everyone. So let's look at it once more. So we see he's been taught to select the written word when he's shown the picture of a cat. And now we see in our question, it was also looking at, he selected the word cat when he was presented with the picture. This was explicitly taught. So train relationship is, D is our correct answer. Yeah, nice job, everyone. Way to go. All right, I think we've got one more of these in here. Let's check it out. So we've got a BCBA designs a program to teach 6-year-old Lila the concept of shapes. Lila is taught that a physical square block is the same as the drawing of a square. The drawing of a square is the same as the written word square, and vice versa. Lila also demonstrates that she can match the drawing to the physical block. She also shows that she can directly match the physical block to the written word square without additional teaching, and promptly shows the block off when asked where the square is. Which of the following is best demonstrated in this scenario? Whew. All right, we've got a lot here.
That's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Just going back to the last one, some people had some questions. So it's not symmetry, and this is incorrect. Because this was the same as the train relationship. We started with the picture, and then they said and they picked the word cat. That was what we explicitly taught, and what the question was asking about. If it would be symmetry, if it was the opposite, so if we show them the word cat and then they selected that cat, that's what would be symmetry. But since this was explicitly taught, it's just a train relation. All right,
so you have like an exercise book of this so that you go over it a million different
I know I should make a practice book. We have so many things to do, but that would be fun to do later on.
But
for
this is
sure.
Like you said, practice, and then you have a lot of examples you're able to practice.
100%. Yeah, I feel like there's not enough good examples of stimulus equivalence questions out there. So at least here's 4 more into the world for y'all. Okay, let's check this one out. So yeah, what's weird about this one? Anything weird about this one? You seen anything, Jeanette?
Oh, I thought you were talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything weird about this one?
I think there's just teaching. Like this is more like not like she already knows a lot of the things and they're derived.
Yeah, there's just a lot of teaching going on. What's kind of weird about like that last sentence? Do you notice anything about that last sentence? Anything weird about it?
She shows the block off when asked where the square is. I don't see it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the weird thing about this one just says which of the following is best demonstrated in this scenario, It's asking about the entire scenario instead of just a specific relationship. So we don't have a lot to work off with. Yeah, I like where people are going. Lillian's right on track. It's talking about the entire scenario instead of just a specific relationship. So we don't know which ones to put on our triangle to start off with. So when we see this, we can suspect D, but we should be able to prove it if that's the case. So let's start throwing some stimuli on the triangle and just make sure that these relationships are present, or if it only described maybe one of these things. So maybe it only describes symmetry or transitivity, but didn't describe stimulus equivalence. So we need to rule that out. I guess let's go sentence by sentence and start drawing the relationships in our triangle. So why don't you run me through that?
So she's taught the physical square block is the same as a drawing of the square.
Cool. So yeah, which way should I draw my line here?
So which one is the drawing?
The drawing would be like just the square, the flat one, the flat one.
So the
It's like a
flat
block.
one. Okay, so the drawing of the square is the same as the word in word square. So we're gonna do train track the solid line down
Yeah,
to the word,
from where to where?
from the word from the word to the square.
Let's see. So drawing of a square is the same as a written word square. So we want to start with the drawing and then go to the written word here for that line.
Hmm.
How about this first part? So Lila's taught that a physical square block is the same as a drawing of a square. Where should I draw this one?
So from your drawing, the bottom one, all the way to the top one.
It's actually going to be opposite here. So the physical square block, that's the first. So that's going to be our antecedent.
This
So we're going
one?
to draw this from here to there.
That's what I meant. I don't know if I said it wrong, but
That's
what
okay. Yeah, it happens. All good. Let's look at our next sentence now. And then it also says vice versa as well. So this does the opposite relationships here. So I think that means the drawing of the square is the same as the written word square. So they also have this one. It doesn't matter if this is actually trained or derived as long as it exists.
Okay.
All right, let's look at the next one. Lila demonstrates that she can match the drawing to the physical block. What line do we draw there?
Says that she can match the draw. So the word to the physical block, to the corner.
So it says the drawing to the physical block.
The drawing is so another line the opposite way. So this
Yeah.
way, this.
Good. And that should that be a dash line or a solid line?
Dash, because she can demonstrate is derived.
Good. So yeah, this one's gonna be demonstrate. She just demonstrated it. Was not explicitly taught. And she also shows that she can directly match the physical block to the written word square without additional teaching. So what do we draw there?
A dash on the bottom because it was derived
Good. Which way?
from the physical to the word.
Good. Yeah, there you go. Physical to the word. And then promptly shows the block off when asked where the square is. So what should we draw there?
Promptly shows the block one. So that's a straight line
Where?
from square to the actual block.
Good. Yeah, and it looks like this one was not explicitly taught either, so we have another derived relationship there. So what is our answer?
D.
D, perfect. Yeah, this one is going to be stimulus equivalence now. So it is always good to just kind of like double check through it all, make sure we have all the relationships necessary to get it there. But yeah, really nice job. That was great. Hopefully this was really helpful.
It was. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for coming on, Jeanette. We've got Robin in the waiting room, but do you have any last minute thoughts for me?
No, thank you. It was very helpful.
Good. I'm so glad. Well, I'll send you the notes afterwards. How about before we get Robin in here, let's do a giveaway. We've been waiting patiently. We've got 48 likes in the video and a lot of people here. So we're gonna start off by giving away a copy of the Ultimate BCBA Exam Bundle. So if you would like this, and or if you want either component of it and you're missing one component, you're able to participate. But if you have both and you don't plan on taking it, then don't. I don't know why you would participate. Give somebody else a chance here. But yeah, let's go ahead. We're gonna do random 500. So yeah, if you want to participate, put a number in the chat, 1 to 500, and we'll give away this mock exam bundle. Good luck, everyone. All right, cool. Looking groovy. How about like 5 more seconds? Anybody wants to participate? Yeah, nice. Robin threw a number in there. That'd be cool if like you win it and then you get to come right on stream anyway. That'd be so cool. All right. Here we go. 1 to 500. Our number is 479. Allison's gonna be our last entrance here. Let's see. 479. Who is closest? I don't see anybody that close. What do we see here? I see Serena's had 500. That's 21 off. Anybody see anybody closer? Oh no, 468 Serena. Wait, Serena, did you guess twice? Who guessed 500? Okay, I think I'm seeing things. 468 Serena. That's 11 off. Maybe that's what I was looking at. That's pretty close. I think Serena's got it. Yeah. Yeah, okay, Lucila had 500. I think Serena's got it. She's close. 11 off. All right, congratulations. We're going to give it to Serena. Yeah, 1 guess per person, everyone. Cool. Yeah, Serena, I got you on the Beat the Beast. Excelente. Just send me an email afterwards, and I will get you hooked up. Congratulations. And here's my email again, understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com. Excellent. And if you're not tuned into everything Understanding Behavior, we've got a lot of cool stuff on there. So we post daily questions on Instagram. You can find the shop there. We have a couple free mini mocks up there too. So check out our link tree and get the links to everything we desire. Let's get Robin in here. And let's continue the Bonanza. I love that, Serena. That's funny. All right, let's get Robin in here. All right. Hey, Robin, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Sorry, can you hear me, Nick? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I got you now. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
You know, not too bad. We're hanging in there. I'm glad that you're here with me. What would you like to discuss today? What's on your mind?
Okay, so honestly, it was mostly about stimulus equivalence, but I feel like that was a really good recap. So I feel somewhat okay there, you know?
Cool. I was gonna say that's the end of my presentation on that anyway. So
okay.
Do you have a camera?
Yeah. Let me see. Sorry.
Cool.
Okay. Can you see me? Mm-hmm. Sorry. Wow. Looking my Sunday best, y'all.
Love it. I mean, me too. It's like my gym outfit. I like haven't showered.
I know. I'm like, I have my 3 kids. Hopefully they don't run in here. But
Word. Well.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I think mostly like I was just kind of curious about like if IOA, pops up. I mean, obviously it's probably going to be on the exam, but kind of like how those questions might, look. I don't know if you can speak to that at all.
Sure. Yeah. I think like as far as like IOA questions,
Yeah.
definitely like check out the video that I have if you haven't
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
It has like practice problems for each type
Okay.
of IOA.
Okay.
Um, and it also tells you like when to use each type of IOA. So I think as far as like how they're gonna quiz you on the exam is that they're either gonna have you like calculate a particular type of IOA,
Okay.
or they're gonna have you like give you a scenario and have you choose which type of IOA. I think like
Okay.
I think like they're more likely to give you one where you're gonna have to calculate. Like I would say like it's like 80% chance you're gonna get one of actually like there's like a 50% chance you're gonna get one where you have to calculate. I'd say maybe a 10 to 20% chance where they're gonna give you a scenario where you have to choose which type of IOA. And then there's like a 30% chance that you're just not going to see IOA in your exam. I'm totally making these numbers up. These are just totally like empirical,
Yeah.
or anecdotal rather, not very empirical. The IOA method. So yeah, I'd be more prepared for this of like being able to calculate each type of IOA where it's like, hey, here's some numbers. We want this type of IOA. Go.
Okay.
So that's what I would be most prepared for. Are there any of those that have been tripping you up? Do you want to go through some more examples of those?
No, I mean, I feel pretty good on them. I just was, I need to like brush up on like when you would use them. Like, I'm really only, like have seen like in practice, like trial by trial. I haven't really seen like, exact count, or total count used or really
Yeah.
duration either. So, I mean, I just need to like differentiate when to use each type is
Yeah,
mostly what I need to study.
for sure, for sure. Do you want to go over
Yeah.
that right now?
Sure, we could.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would rather talk about?
The only other thing was I was just gonna ask about like ethical questions on there. Like I know I've had some advice of like, okay, well think about who wrote the exam, right? Like it's people say like it's gray, but it's really not. It's black and white. So like just any advice about like the ethics questions, just mostly to like stay towards like, the code and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I would just say like stick with the rules. I think
yeah.
like they do kind of try to trick you up a little bit by like
Hmm.
having some situations that might feel a little bit gray, but like just kind of like stick with what the rules say. I think
Okay.
like I need to make like a cheat sheet for this, but there's like also a couple things that you should just like be familiar with like the numbers for.
Okay.
So like for example, like hold on to your documents for 7 years for like
Yeah.
supervisees and clients. You like if for like multiple relationships, if you want to like have a
Hmm.
romantic relationship, like you have to make sure that that relationship is severed first. There's not really like a time period, but like if the professional relationship is severed, then you're not at risk of a multiple relationship or date by dating or anything. So kind of just
Okay.
like know like a couple of like those number things.
Okay.
Um, might be useful. And then also like just kind of like being familiar with the ethics code.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm gonna type some of these things out for everybody too. So like, some quick tips like know a few of like the number things. So like for example, like hold documents for 7 years.
Hmm.
Thinking about like multiple relationships. We want to. What are some like some other ones? 2 years. Yeah, which one is 2 years? 2 years to date. I think like if you I think it's yeah 2 years for like dating clients it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Dating clients is 2 years. But for a supervisor or like a supervisor supervisee,
Hmm.
um, relationship like that's cool as once it's severed.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just mostly like those kind of questions, like if they're going to be like asking what is code, 1.05, those kind of things. But I think, like you said, like if you just know like the topics and like can follow along with like the ethical stuff. So, okay, cool.
Okay, it is 6 months. Well, Crystal and I were just working on a question of this the other day. I didn't actually like double check it because again, like things have just been a little bit of a mess recently. So I think people are saying it's 6 months. Let's just pull up the code right now and just like double check it. But I believe you guys. Actually, if anybody has a link, that would be easier. Okay, sorry. I think I had that wrong. Maybe it is 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, ethics is not my strong suit, guys. But yeah, I think like knowing a couple of like those number things is really helpful. You don't need to know the numbers. Know the numbers of the code. But what I would suggest is like getting some be familiar with the code.
Okay.
And like know where like each thing falls under.
Yeah, I got you. Like, and like what main principle or, like responsibility to clients versus supervisees, those type of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's like this is a responsibility for the client or responsibility in research or responsibility in practice, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, people are saying this 6 months, but somebody else just said it's actually not 6 months. Let's get a clear answer for this, just so we are like not leaving any mystery behind here, because I don't want to give you guys like incorrect information. That would suck. So yeah, here's the ethics code. I don't think I have this shared with you. Let me share it better. I've got so many tools up. Where's that?
Yeah, same. Sorry.
No, you're good. All right. Ethics code here. So like dating. Let's see if we can find date. It might just be too general. Like updated. Let's see, multiple relationship. Okay, so they have. Okay, yeah, that's direct. Definition here. Let's see what this says. So it says, because multiple relationships means on a conflict that harm one or more parties. Oh wait. Here's my thing. I can share this with you now. Okay. I'm reading this top here. So multiple relationships arise. Take the appropriate steps to resolve them. Not possible. Yeah, I don't. Okay, romantic and sexual relationships. Okay. Don't do it with your supervisees. Okay, we know that. Here else do not engage in romantic or sexual relationships with clients or stakeholders for 2 years. And romantic or sexual relationships until the parties can document that the professional relationship has ended. Ha! I thought I had it right. So yeah, you're good to go as once that relationship, the professional relationship has ended. So like you signed up on all your paperwork and now you're good to go. There is no, wait, let's see. Here analysts do not accept supervisees or trainees, individuals who, if they've had a past romantic or sexual relationships, like 6 months. Okay, so that's where it comes in. So if you dated somebody 3 months ago and now you want to be their supervisor, that's not cool.
Yeah.
So
okay, got you.
But if you were just their supervisor and now you want to date, you're cool. Okay, cool. I'm glad we fleshed that out.
Yeah. No, there's those little things, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get that in the notes here. So yeah, for the multiple relationships. So like if you cannot supervise somebody if you were in a relationship with them in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But you can be in a relationship with somebody immediately after like their professional duties have been terminated.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, other than that, I was just gonna ask if you had any tips on like how to what to write on your whiteboard, when you get there in the exam. And you might have a video on this, so I should probably look through all that. But
yeah, I don't think we do have a video on that explicitly.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the whiteboard, I think it's just really personalized this. I don't think there's any strategy that's gonna work for everybody here.
Okay.
For me, everybody has the one thing that they just like cannot remember. Like I had it too on my exam. Like for some reason, like I couldn't remember the group contingencies for the life of me when I was on test day. So like I had my flashcards like in my car with me. I like looked at them, and that was the first thing that I wrote down. We didn't get whiteboards; we just got paper back then. That was the first thing I wrote down, was the group contingencies, because I'm just like, I just brushed it good here and just have these. And then it was cool because I actually had a group contingency question, and then I was like ready to go. I had the info ready. So
Okay.
yeah, that would be my suggestion. Just personalize it. Like do like the one thing you just cannot nail down, or if it's like something that's been really helpful for you, like a strategy that's been helpful for you, but you just like can't remember it. Just like get that, like run it through your head a million times right before you go, and then you'll just get it out, and then you can move on peacefully. Because you know, like, hey, if I confront that topic, I've got the information I need to solve this. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And I saw some other ideas in the chats too. So thank you. I really appreciate your time, and you've been super helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. We still got a few more minutes. Actually, our next person's not coming for a while, so you're welcome to hang out for a little while longer if you'd like, but totally up to you. Did you want to go over like when to choose different IOA methods?
Yeah,
Or?
sure. If that's cool with everybody, that's cool.
I mean, this is your time. You paid for it. You're on the show.
Yeah, we could. It's mostly like the mean duration and like, I mean, obviously I know when you would use duration, you know, but it's just kind of like why I have never seen it in practice, so I kind of wanted to, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's try to simplify this pretty as easily as possible. So when we're our
Okay.
IOA types, we're going to split them up into our continuous IOA. And then we have our discontinuous IOA methods.
Okay.
We've got 3 different types for each of these. Do you know the ones for continuous?
Is continuous frequency?
Yeah, so that'd be like a type of continuous measurement, but what type of like IOA would we use for that?
Count? Like exact count?
That'd be one form there, so it'd be like exact IOA.
Yeah.
You said mean earlier, and then there's one
Yeah.
more.
Is it the trial by trial?
Close.
Interval by interval?
Close. So those are gonna be for our discontinuous, actually.
Yeah, that's discontinuous. Exact, mean, total?
Yeah, good. Total.
Okay.
So that's for our continuous measurements. And for
Okay.
these are like, they range from like loosest to strictest.
Okay.
And essentially like loose IOA, like just tends to give higher scores.
Okay.
And then strict IOA tends to give lower scores.
Okay.
So, so if you have like really high IOA, like if you have really good IOA and you use a strict measurement, it's like, oh shit, like that's pretty impressive. Like it's probably pretty good. But if we use like loose IOA and like our data doesn't look good, it's like, wow, like it probably just was not good at all.
Yeah.
So there's not really a clear rule about like when to choose each one of these. Just kind of know that like different situations are gonna like be more or less important to have like strict or loose IOA. Like for example, if I'm just doing like a naturalistic teaching procedure, then a loose IOA might be more cool. But if we're doing like data on like punishment implementation, where it's like we need to be perfect here, then we might use a stricter one.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, that's all good. Oh no, you all right?
I just fell out of my chair.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Totally
Okay.
fine.
Cool,
Just
cool,
embarrassed.
cool, cool,
Sorry,
cool.
y'all.
It's
That's so
okay.
embarrassing. There's all these people. Okay.
It's okay.
Last
It's
time
okay.
coming live. Okay.
We're gonna rock it. We're gonna rock it. So let's go over like each type of these. So we have our total, where we just kind of like take the like looser, and we just kind of like take the larger observation divided by the smaller observation.
Okay.
So for example, like if I saw that there was like 10 instances of behavior and you reported that there were 9 instances of behavior, what should I divide?
You're gonna do 9 divided by 10, right? So
Yeah,
it would
good.
be 90%, because
Yeah.
then you multiply. Okay.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah, we're just gonna take 9 divided by 10, smaller divided by larger number, and then we're good to go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, for our mean IOA, so this is kind of like our like mid strictness,
Okay.
and this so this is like mean like per interval is how we're gonna think about it. So
Okay.
essentially like the process for this is like you take total IOA for each interval, and then you take the mean of all of the IOA scores. So it's kind of like mid strictness, where it's like adds in like a little bit more detail than the total, but it's not quite as strict as the exact.
Okay.
And then for our exact per interval, this is essentially like where it's like agreeances only occur if both observers report the exact same number.
Okay.
So if I said 10 instances and you said 9 instances, what would we score that as?
You said 10 is this. We would score it as 9.
We would score it as 0, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we scored it as a 0 because we did not agree on that interval. So for
Oh,
that
I
interval,
got
it's
you.
gonna be
Yeah,
0.
for that interval. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So note, like that's what makes it really strict. Is like if we are off at all, then it's a 0.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we mean by really strict here.
Yeah. Per interval. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And again, like there's not a clear reason about like when to choose a looser or stricter one, but
Okay.
kind of just like pay attention to like how necessary it is. And I don't think they're really going to give you questions about like choosing which one of these to use. I think they're more just going to
Okay.
like have you calculate them. I think it's
Okay.
more likely to happen. All right, and then for our discontinuous IOA, we've got 3 different types here. Do you know these ones?
So that would be, you're gonna have the trial by trial, right? And the mean duration, and duration.
So that'd be like that would fall under our continuous still. So that'd be like
okay.
mean duration per intervals. So this could be like applicable to like the different continuous measurements
Oh.
too. So it could be like mean count or mean duration.
Okay, got you.
And
Got
actually,
you.
one thing I do want to point out here is that for this exact per interval, we will never use this for like time-based measurements. Because think about it, if we both have like a stopwatch and we're trying to get it to line up by like the 0.1 second, like we're just gonna get straight zeros every time. It's just way too hard. We're not that good.
Okay.
So we just
I
won't.
got you.
So we just won't use exact for our continuous time-based measurements.
Okay, so then in the discontinuous, we're gonna have is that where you have unscored and scored? Or is that
Yeah,
also...
good, perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna add scored and unscored here.
Okay.
Cool. And then for our discontinuous IOA, we can like choose the method based off of the rate of the responding.
Okay.
But like when in doubt, just choose trial by trial or interval by interval.
Okay. Yeah, those are the only ones that I've really seen, like in practice.
Yeah. So yeah, for a scored interval, like what we want to do is we basically like focus on like what is more interesting in the data set. And I think about that as like what there's less of. So so for scored interval, we only count or like we only look at the intervals where one individual said it was scored. Or like the behavior occurred. And so do you think we're going to use that for high frequency behavior or low frequency behavior? So if we want to focus on what there's less of.
Um, low frequency behavior.
Good. Yeah, we're going to use it for low frequency behavior because there's going to be less likely to have
Mm-hmm.
scored intervals. So we're focusing on like what's more interesting. So
Okay.
use if like 30% or less of the intervals are expected to be scored. And this is definitely pretty rough. So about 30% or less of the intervals are expected to be scored. Trial by trial is kind of like our mid tier. So like use if about like 30 to 70% of intervals are scored. And then for our unscored, like use if about like 70% of our intervals are scored. Cool, cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah, of course.
appreciate that.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, much clearer rules for the discontinuous IOA, less clear
Yeah.
rules for the continuous IOA, but just think about like the strictness. And Lillian also brought up a good point too. Like it might depend like what it's being used for. So for doing research, we might use a stricter type of IOA than a looser type of IOA. But in reality, like I think what actually happens is that they tend to use looser types of IOA to make their data look better, just
Okay.
because like research
Yeah.
incentives are all messed up. But that's a
Yeah.
topic for a different day. Cool, cool. Well,
Okay.
thanks for coming on,
Awesome.
Robin.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
For sure, for sure. Enjoy the rest of Bonanza, and see you around.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Take care.
You too.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Well, yeah, this has been fun. I think it's so much more fun to have students come on with me here. So thanks for everybody who has signed up for today. Definitely makes these fun for me. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying the lesson so far. All right, well, I don't have a clear plan of what we want to go over, of what to review next, but I'm open to some suggestions. So if you have a suggestion in chat, yeah, I know some people are a little shy, a little nervous. It's a lot of people. See, Robin was a G though. Like even when something embarrassing happens, like we still kill it. Trust me, guys, I'm like nervous for every single one of these streams. Like, I don't show it as much anymore, but all good, crew. All good. All right, people want attitudes of science. I think Lillian said she wanted to go over accuracy, validity, reliability later. Maybe we could do that earlier. She had a lot of topics. We checked off her stimulus equivalence at least. Chaining, when to use it. We'll save some of hers for later. Let's see what else you guys got. Attitudes versus assumptions. I don't know if you really need to focus on that too much. Like, help on rate? What about rate, Gail? I love rate. Rate is the best measurement. You know, behavior contrast. That is not something we've talked about in a really long time. I like that one. I'm going to throw that one on here. Let's see what else you guys got. What other suggestions? Classical conditioning, we do that all the time. We just did that this Thursday. Verbal operants, we got a presentation on that. I think that's coming up again soon. Cuss and pivotal behaviors, that might be fun. All right, let's start with behavior contrast, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. We were talking about behavior contrast first. Let's start off with like, I'm gonna ask you guys a cool question. Behavior contrast has to do with a compound schedule of reinforcement. And my question to you is, which compound schedule of reinforcement is most related to behavior contrast? And if you can include a Y, that'll be even cooler. STs and MOs, that's like my favorite. I feel like we do that a lot though. It's like my favorite though. What are the topics I struggled with? Honestly, I don't really know. I went to an awesome program. I went to Western Michigan University, and I also had my undergraduate was in behavioral science. So I've been learning and like studying behavior analysis at a pretty high level since I was 19 years old. So I feel pretty spoiled from that. You guys are gonna hate me, but I like didn't study for the BCBA exam. I think I had like one session where I put like an hour in. I'm like, I don't know the dependent contingencies, or I don't know the group contingencies, so I'll like look at those. Like we didn't go over those in school, so like I'll study them. But that was like about it. Yeah, I feel like when your undergrad is behavioral science, you get a really big advantage. I know, Amanda, you've been hauling ass. All right, so yeah, the answer here, I think only two people got it, Skylar and Lillian. Julianne got it. This is going to be our multiple schedule of reinforcement. So our multiple schedule of reinforcement, let's go over what we're looking at here. So we have two or more different conditions. They are signaled by an SD. And what they do is they signal different schedules of reinforcement. And they change after a period of time. So those are our components of our multiple schedule, and we're going to see how these relate into behavioral contrast. So behavioral contrast occurs when it occurs anytime the rate of a behavior changes in one condition. So it occurs when there is an environmental change that causes the rate of a behavior to change in a single condition. And what this does is that it causes the behavior to change in the opposite direction in another condition where that environmental change has not occurred yet. So again, we have two different settings. Something changes the behavior in one setting. So let's say we add reinforcement. Now we see more of that behavior. What should happen in the second setting where we didn't change anything? Should this behavior go up or should it go down if we have behavior contrast occurring? So again, we reinforced a behavior in one setting. We didn't change anything in setting two. Should this behavior go up or should it go down? What do you guys think? Let's see that in chat. Yeah, another part about our multiple schedules is that these are successively presented. So that just means one is like only one schedule is active at a time. And I'm also meant to put that we're also looking at a single response class. All right, so we were looking at, again, we did something to increase the behavior in one condition. What should happen in condition two? And chat is right on track that that behavior is going to go down if we have behavior contrast occurring. So think about it. We added reinforcement in this setting, and now this other setting where like that reinforcement isn't there. Like, why should we engage in the behavior if we're like getting more of it over here? So we're gonna see more of the behavior here and less of that behavior here due to like the MOs and effort of the root behavior and the different schedules of reinforcement available. So yeah, let's go through that example. So we implement a new reinforcement for, let's just say like going on runs at mom's house. Now this should, this will increase going on runs at mom's house and decrease going on runs at dad's house. Now, when we have behavior contrast, we have positive behavior contrast and we have negative behavior contrast. Actually, let's do it like this. Positive, negative behavior contrast. So to determine this, to determine whether positive or negative contrast is occurring, Focus on the setting where nothing changed. On the setting where there was no environmental change. Let's look at this example. We implemented new reinforcement for going on runs at mom's house. So we saw increase in mom's house, decrease at dad's house. Is this going to be positive or negative behavioral contrast? So again, focus on that unchanged setting. What happened? And that will tell us if it's positive or negative. While you guys are here, just a reminder, if you want to get the notes from today's session, you can purchase them on the shop here. They are just $5. I'll also include some of the slides from the stimulus equivalence presentation that we went over earlier. So should be worth it. It's only $5. It's pretty cool. All right, cool. I'm liking where we're going. Anybody else? Let's see some rationales here. You guys have kind of quieted down on me. We don't want this bonanza to end early. Cool, yeah, Savannah, I love that rationale. Cool, yeah, Lillian, on the right track. Yeah, Stacy, I love that. That's perfect. Cool, yeah, Amanda on the right track too. I just say no reinforcement, keep it simple. All right. Okay, cool. So for this example, again, what we want to do is we want to look at what's going on in the unchanged setting to determine if it's positive or negative. So this one is going to be negative behavioral contrast. And that's, again, because the behavior decreased at dad's place with no change in the environment. So, like, nothing different changed about dad's house. Like, dad's house exactly the same as always. But we see less of this behavior. And the cause of that is because of the new reinforcement at mom's house. I want you to see that, like, actually the cause of the behavior was the change in the other schedule, which causes the behavior to change in the opposite schedule in the opposite way. All right, let's go through another example. So let's say that, like, we, like, at, or like when your girlfriend is over, you like hide your video games. Or let's give it a better. I don't like this example. Let's do a better one. How about I'm trying to think of like a non-mom and dad's house example. Let's do like when it's Christmas time. I'm like drawing a blank here. Anybody want to try to give an example of behavior contrast here? Yeah, Cascada is a pretty good example. So like cussing at with friends versus like at home. So let's look at that one. So cuss with friends versus at home. Let's see. So let's say like if you cuss at home, then it's like you get your mouth covered in soap. Or you get mouth soap. That's a pretty old school behavior change technology. Hopefully nobody's doing that these days. But let's look at it. Yeah, I know it's very old school. I'm not saying this is a good example. I'm just saying it's an example. Yeah, we have cuss at home and we get you get soap in your mouth. So let's see what are the effects that this is going to have, assuming that getting the soap in your mouth is going to be a punisher. I know it's old school. It's not the point. We're just wanting an example, not one to use. Please don't put soap in any of your kids' mouths or anybody's mouth. All right, cool. So yeah, Skylar's got that first part here. The first effect is that we're going to see decrease cussing at home. What's the other effect that we're going to see here? Yeah, we're going to assume that we don't like soap in our mouth. Let's ease up on the show. All right, cool. Yeah, you guys are on it with the other part now. Nice job, Savannah, Amanda, Caitlin. So yeah, we're also going to see increase cussing with friends. And so yeah, we're probably gonna see like that lack of punishment there and see this increase. What kind of behavior contrast do we have here? Is this positive or negative behavior contrast? Good, I'm liking where we're going. One thing I want to point out here is that we saw this increase in cussing with friends, but remember, like, there wasn't reinforcement implemented. So I want you, like, one thing I've seen a lot of students struggle with, especially for like students that score in like the 350-ish range or so, is that they don't separate like the contingencies from their effects. So like not separating like reinforcement and increasing. Like there's a lot of things that can increase the behavior other than reinforcement. In this case, we saw it's just like the punishment with mom actually caused this increase in the behavior with friends. So kind of interesting there. And if you're scoring like in the 350s or so, I think like what you really need to do is circle back to like your basic contingencies and get really good at them. We've got a video on that somewhere in the live streams. I think it was like a Saturday study stream. We did that really hard. But yeah, like you need to like really separate those effects of like what's like differences between reinforcement and increase. Like if behavior is decreasing, doesn't mean it's extinguished. Could be a million other explanations for that behavior. So get really good at parsing out those effects from the things that cause the effects. It would be a big tip. All right, so yeah, y'all are right on track. I love all the rationales here too. Yeah, Tina, Lillian, you've been killing it today. Amanda looks good. Yeah, it could be a side effect of punishment. Awesome. Yeah, Nicole's asking like, what if you're scoring in the 390s consistently? I think if you're around like 385 plus, what you need to do is you just need to be drilling questions. Like do so many questions and then like take the time with the feedback on them too. Like understand why you're getting errors. Like I think like doing error analysis and figuring like why you're erring on questions is really important. So like for example, like is it like anxiety responding? Are you like changing your answers last second? Is it an info gap? Like do you just not know something? Do you know something incorrectly? Like you thought you knew it one way, but it actually is more something like something else. But yeah, like if you're at like 385 plus, you're so close. You just gotta tighten up with questions a little bit. Keep going. You're almost there. Like you're probably gonna get your next 1 or 2 attempts, but you have to keep up the pace with studying. Keep like logical processes with questions, and you'll be on the right track. I know we've got a couple people just floating in the 390s right now. But trust me, like you're not alone on this. We've had a lot of students like stay in the 390s for 3 to 5 exams or so. You're not alone in this, and a lot of them are BCBAs now. Stick with it. You are so close. Yeah, people are talking about like changing your answers or not. Like somebody brought up like recently they scored like a 350 and they mentioned that they changed a lot of answers and like not going to do that next time. I don't recommend that. I think you should change your answers if you are a person who can approach them with logic. I recorded a video already that is like question answering techniques. I just got to finish the editing on it. Again, sorry, this just been like a little bit of a crazy week. But I'm excited to get that out soon. The recording came out really good, and it's going to have a lot of those question answering strategies. It's going to be tied into the mini mocks. I mean, it's going to be free video on YouTube, but going to be a really useful resource for y'all, I think. So I'm excited to get that out for y'all. Should be out early next week. All right. So yeah, to finish this example up, so what we have positive behavior contrast. And again, so like the punishment at home caused the behavior to increase with friends. And what another way that we could conceptualize this is as a stimulus discrimination. So what we have here is like we have our SD as mom, we have behavior as cuss, and then consequence as mouth soap. We have S delta is that we have friends, we cuss, and now there's no mouth soap. This first one here is positive punishment. Our second one here, does anybody know the name of this contingency? So it occurs when we stop punishment. Anybody know this one? Top is positive punishment. What's our bottom S delta contingency? It's a 3-word term I'm looking for. Yeah, can I get the video done before the 30th? I think so. I think Tuesday it should be out. Yeah, Rosabel's saying that she's getting stuck on section A. Got 396 last time. You're so close, Rosabel. But yeah, for section A, I think there's only like 6 or 7 questions on the actual exam. My advice would actually be like, don't focus on it, I guess. Because like just that score is really volatile. Like think about it, like 6 questions. If you miss 3, that shows a 50%. So it's just really volatile. Like it's able to look really bad. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like if you feel like you've done everything you can in A and like can come up with definitions for those terms pretty easily, I would just say just kind of rock it out and like try to like brush up on the definitions, obviously, but don't worry about it too much. But yeah. All right, let's talk about this one. So Lillian got this. We were looking at what was the contingency for our S delta here. This is recovery from punishment. So this is another way to conceptualize this multiple schedule or behavior contrast, is that behavior was no longer being punished, so it increases. So it increases back to baseline levels. For sure. Yeah, a common misconception, you do not need to pass all sections. Yeah, you do not need to pass all sections. You can have some Swinner skills. You just need a 400 points overall, but yeah, you do not need to pass each section. You can get a 0 in section A and still pass. Like straight up, you get a 0 in section A and still pass. Yeah, just catching up on chat here. Yeah, and again, don't worry about your scores in A too much just because it's so volatile. Yeah, there's so few questions in there. Good, Amanda. I'm glad you're chilling out. I think you're more prepared than you think you are, Amanda. Yeah, curious if you know somebody who didn't finish 20 questions and still pass. I mean, that's impressive, to be honest. That's very impressive. All right, cool beans. All right, well, how about we go ahead and take a 2-minute break or so. I'm just gonna like stretch it out. We've got Lillian coming on in a few minutes. Once we're done from that break, we're gonna do another giveaway. So stay tuned. Don't leave. Be here on stream. But we'll be back in about like 2 or 3 minutes. So yeah, see you guys soon. Just gonna take a little potty break, get some water and stuff. We'll be back in like 3 minutes. See you guys in a few. right, folks, we are back for now. How are y'all doing? Hopefully you had a good little stretch-a-rooney and all that. All right, well, yeah, we've got Lillian coming on in a few minutes. Yeah, I love all the discussion. I love just like all the camaraderie and chat too. Like it makes me happy just to see you guys like all working together and helping each other out on the exam. It makes my heart really happy. And also, like, if you are looking for like additional study buddies, or if you're looking to get like a more personalized study group, I encourage you to reach out to people in the group, or just post something. I think I want to do like a find a friend Friday kind of thing, make a post that just kind of encourages people to connect too. So keep all that up. I really like to see it, and I love to see you guys bonding and learning more together, because studying and behavior is more fun with our friends. I know, find a friend Friday. I thought it would be so fun. Well, I'll make like a silly graphic for you guys too. Cool. Yeah, the questions on the real exam, they're definitely mixed. Like you're gonna see some short ones, you're gonna see some longer ones. And the Beat the Beast is kind of designed to like have that balance of like short and long questions. But yeah, awesome. Yay, love it. Gabby and Amanda, that's so cute. I love it. All right, cool. Well, again, thanks for being here, guys. Let's go ahead and we're gonna do another giveaway. Just a reminder, if you do want to get the notes from today's session, you can purchase them on the shop. Behavior Binge Bonanza notes. They're just $5. And I'll even include some of the slides from stimulus equivalence today too, so check that out. But let's go ahead. We're gonna give away another copy of the ultimate BSB exam mock bundle. So if you're missing either component, either the mini mocks for mastery or the Beat the Beast mock, you are welcome to participate in this. But let's go ahead. Let's do 1 to let's do 1 to 350. We'll narrow it down a little bit. 1 to 350 is our range. Yes, Stacy's saying my voice has become so common in our house with all the videos she's watching. Her son says cool the other day. Yes, we're corrupting the youth. Hopefully he's gonna be like a radical behaviorist soon too. Again, the range is 1 to 350, so if you guess outside of that range, you can get another guess. But yeah, 1 guess per person. 1 to 350. Yeah, Lily, you gotta get on here soon. All right, let's set this up. 1 to 350. Sorry, I'm switching it up on y'all. You gotta keep it fresh. Keep y'all on your toes. All right. All right, Kindle, that works. And then Vivian says 222 right after. All right. Sassy Vega G is going to be our last one. Let's get this number. Our number is 299. Who's got it? 299. Oh, Allison Elliott, 300. Oh, Jeanette, though, 299. Oh, Ricky, 299, too. What is this madness? 2 people, 299 and a 300. All right, Ricky and Jeanette, we've got a showdown here. Dun. All right, winner's gonna get the full bundle. Loser's just gonna get the Beat the Beast. So Ricky and Jeanette, we got one more number, 1 to 350. Let's do it. Showdown. I love when the showdowns happen. It gets me so pumped. All right, Jeanette and Ricky, one more number. All right, Jeanette guesses 100. Ricky, what are you guessing? 29? Let's see. Here we go. Oh, it's 312. So that means Jeanette is going to be our winner. Congrats, Jeanette. Ricky, I'll also get you a copy of the Beat the Beast if you would like it. I think you may have taken it just send me an email. We'll work things out, Ricky. Send me an email too. Let me know what you need. Understandingbehaviorofficial@gmail.com. Congratulations to Jeanette and Ricky. All right, thanks so much for being here. If we're feeling cool, we might do one more. We'll see. Okay, looks like Lillian is here. Let me just write this down too. Jeanette and Ricky. Awesome. Congrats, y'all. Let's go ahead and get Lillian in here. And we'll wrap up the Bonanza soon, but this should be fun. Okay, cool. Let's get Lillian. Hey, how's it going, Lillian? Oh, wait, there she is. How's it going? How's it going?
Hang on, I don't know if I need to pause the live stream.
Yeah, get off the live stream for sure.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Good. There, let's get you on the stream here. There we go. That'll work. Sweet. So yeah, you got me on some topics earlier. Is there anything that you want to prioritize?
Hang on, let me see if I can. I'm trying to remember what all I sent you.
I know. Here's our list. I copied it in here. So you had
Perfect.
Here, let me share it with you. Oh wait, it's already sharing. Cool.
You doing stimulus equivalence earlier helped.
Yeah, sweet. We did that. I'm glad that's cool. Any questions there?
I think the only thing that haven't talked a lot about, and I'm not sure if it's really big on the exam or not, is the non-equivalence teaching the RFT stuff with mutual entailment and combinatorial entailment. Yeah,
that might actually be cool to kind of like hit on briefly. So,
okay.
With like RFT, like essentially like there are like more possible relationships than just equivalent.
Okay.
Like some examples of these, I'm always like at like getting the full list, but like some examples would be like opposites. So if I know this water in here is really cold, then I could derive that this water is not hot.
Right.
So like makes sense. Like given this information, more information can derive. So if I know the water is cold, then I know it's also not hot. So that would be, would that be our more like symmetry or transitivity?
If you know something's not, like if you know it's cold, you also know it's not hot, that would be symmetry.
Yeah, good, because we only need to know that one relationship, the one side of the triangle, and we can derive the opposite end of that. Do you remember what the like symmetry equivalence word is for RFT?
Mutual entailment?
Good. So yeah, this would be symmetry or mutual entailment. This would be more, mutual entailment would be more accurate because it's an RFT relation. Mm-hmm. Another could be like hierarchical. So if I know like I'm older than my dog, what could I derive from that?
Your dog is younger than you?
Yeah, exactly. So we could also derive my dog is younger than me. And then let's just say like my niece is younger than my dog. What else could I derive from that?
So then your dog would be older than your niece.
Yeah, it could be dog is older than the niece. And then both of those would probably be our mutual entailment because they only needed the one piece of information to derive the opposite. What would be a relationship that would demonstrate combinatorial entailment in this same example?
That one is related to transitivity, right?
Yeah, so it'd essentially be like transitivity for our RFT relationship. So let's get our triangle, just get some good practices here. So we have my dog, niece, and then me. So I'm older than my dog. So we'll draw this one, older. And then my niece is younger than my dog. So we trained that, and this is younger. And then we had our two derived relationships. So we saw like the dog is younger than me. Sorry, this is getting really messy. And we had our other derived relationship here. So how can we see combinatorial entailment?
That's when you're gonna say that your niece is younger than you because she's
Good.
younger than the dog, right?
Good. Yeah. So we know, well, we would need both pieces of information. So we would need to know that the niece is younger than the dog and that I'm older than the dog. So with those two pieces of information, then we can get this relationship. What would be the other one that would be like our combinatorial entailment?
I said that your niece is so that you would be older than your niece.
Yeah,
Just
perfect. Perfect. So just be the opposite there. And this would be our older relationship. So I'm older than the niece. Cool.
Okay.
Sorry,
and
this
that's
looks like
the-
absolute trash, but like, that makes sense.
Okay, and that's combinatorial entailment is more like, I guess I'm just concerned that some of these things that are like more abstract concepts are gonna be on the exam, or if it's just gonna be more of your bigger concepts like the positive and negative.
It's gonna be more of the bigger concepts for sure. Like these will definitely be sprinkled in, but I would like if you got 2 stimulus equivalence questions on your exam, like, I would be shocked. So yeah, we saw that these 2 relationships were mutual entailment, and then we look at our combinatorial entailment. Combinatorial, that's always like such a word. This would be that the niece is younger than me, and then I'm older than the niece.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then I think my next couple of questions, I think with the behavior contrast one, I think too much into those where I'm like, well, wait, wouldn't you see an increase in behavior initially because of the fact that they're like, oh, I can get reinforcement in school. Can I also get it on the playground? So then you see like an increase in the behavior until they realize that, hey, I'm not going to get reinforced on the playground.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of stuff.
So let's think about that though. So if they're kind of learning where like different conditions like signal like different consequences for behavior, what is occurring? What term is that?
Discrimination training.
Yeah, perfect. Discrimination training. So like so at that point, like if the behavior hasn't changed yet, but they're like experiencing the 2 consequences, then what we would say is that they're like experiencing discrimination training, but we don't have stimulus control yet.
Okay.
So we could say like we're on the way to behavior contrast occurring, like behavior contrast is probably going to occur, but it's not yet occurring because there's not like clear discrimination between the settings yet.
Okay, so it's not so behavior contrast. I guess in my head I was thinking that behavior contrast was something that we didn't necessarily want to have happen. Like we wanted to try to avoid having behavior contrast happen.
I mean,
But
I think
you're saying for discrimination training purposes, we need our learners to understand like the context of behavior, and we need them to learn like when it's okay and when it's not.
like I think there's a use for every tool. So I'm not going to say like we always want this or we never want this. Like sometimes we want behaviors occurring in different settings, like and sometimes we don't. So it depends like if we want a program for generalization or for discrimination. So generalization would be expanding the context of the behavior. Discrimination would be narrowing those contexts of behavior. So like for example, if I wanted to get like somebody to be like have good hygiene, like that's something we would probably want to generalize across a lot of different settings. Maybe if it's like for like out like camping or like out on a hike or like doing something sporty, then like the hygiene doesn't matter as much. But so we want to like teach generalization across like where it would be appropriate, and discrimination where like it doesn't really matter. Like, hey, this is camping, so you don't really have to be that hygienic here. or at
Okay.
least like not as hygienic as like if you're going like on a date.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, think about like don't think about any tools like good or bad or we should always do this or never do this. Think about like, do we want this to happen? Can we expect it to happen? And how can we plan for all of that?
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, good questions. I like it, kind of like getting a little deeper into some of these things sometimes too, like how to like make those choices. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions on mutual or combinatorial entailment?
No, I'm good.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Where do you want to go next?
Um, so on the mock exam, measurement was the hardest part. I think I missed every single one of the validity, reliability, and accuracy questions. And I know a few other people have said those topics as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can tell you what each one of them is, but when it comes to trying to read them in scenarios, I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, for sure. I think like the Beat the Beast especially, like most of those questions are just looking at validity. So like,
Yeah.
is this the right measurement for the right situation? And I think that really is the most important thing to get down. We have the measurement presentation we've been over a few times, and it kind of like breaks down like each measurement procedure and like what situations it's valid for. But I think like the main thing to think about is just like, does this? Yeah. So let's just put a section in here for validity.
I've definitely watched the measurement videos at least twice.
For sure, for sure.
No.
But yeah, like
Don't know
the
what I'm
main
missing.
thing is like just make sure that the measurement system captures a relevant dimension that we're trying to change. So think about like, if this measurement changes, will like the client like receive quality of life improvements? And think about, I also want to think about like the possibility, like think through the possibilities of where like something may misrepresent what's going on. I'm gonna move this stimulus equivalent stuff just so we don't get it too messy. We'll put it back later. So yeah, where do we go? Here. Okay. So yeah, think of the possibilities like where something may misrepresent what's going on. Here's like one example of that. So let's say we're using like partial interval recording to track attending. Can you think about a situation where like the data may look good, but it's like the behavior is actually just not good? It's like not improving.
Well, with partial interval, it can happen at any time during the interval for it to count as an occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be happening 10 times in that one interval, and you're only marking it as one. So I could see where that could be a problem.
Okay, so so with our partial interval, like again, you really want to think about like those intervals not as occurrences, but as periods of time. So interval is a unit of time, and it's not necessarily that like partial interval underestimates frequency. It's that partial interval recording is incomparable to frequency.
Okay.
So think about it. If I say like if I have like a 1 minute interval, for example, and I mark it plus with partial interval recording, essentially what that's saying is that this behavior was occurring for that 1 minute period. So that doesn't really relate at all to like 3 instances or 5 instances or 20 instances, because they're just different things. These are units of time. These are instances of behavior, and they're just totally incomparable. So, so let's think about this a little bit more thoroughly. So, you said if they attend like 10 times, that we would mark it as like a plus for the whole interval. Like, I mean, if they're like attending 10 times, if they're like going on and off attending 10 times in a 1 minute interval, like, is that a good thing?
Not really.
Yeah, not really. If you think about like what actually is the goal of this, if we want them to be attending more, like attending like in and out 10 times a minute, that's not really that good. But our data is gonna say like, yeah, like they were attending the whole time. And also like if let's just say like they only attended like 2 seconds per 1 minute interval, our data are going to say like, yeah, he was attending 100% of the time. It was great. But in reality though, like this measurement system is just not appropriate for it because it's way overestimating that behavior.
So when you're saying relevant dimension, then you're not necessarily talking about like making sure that if you're measuring hitting, that you're measuring hitting, but making sure that you're going to use like frequency of hitting versus the duration of a hit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we mean
Okay.
by relevant dimension is like, are we using the appropriate measurement procedure to capture it? Not necessarily if we're just measuring. I mean, it does relate like if we're measuring the wrong thing. So like, for example, if I were measuring partial interval and then I reported like inner response time, then that would be invalid as well. But it's like invalid in a different way because just like we chose the wrong measurement procedure and it doesn't really capture what we want. And it was not what we intended to either. So that might be like either a supervision problem, like, hey, maybe we didn't guide them or set them up well enough to do this, or it could just be that I chose the wrong measurement procedure and I instructed them to do the wrong one. So it kind of depends, like where that issue came from.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but good question. So yeah, I think like validity really is the most important one. And that this is like the question to think about if with validity. So like if this measurement changes, will the client receive quality of life improvements? And if the answer to this question is no, then our measurement is invalid. And it's if it is no or it could possibly be no, then we have an invalid measurement. We're not capturing it right.
I don't think I'm following you on that. Sorry.
Yeah, so like there could be a situation like if we're to do like let's go back to the attending for partial interval recording. Like if they were actually like attending 100% of the time, then the data would say that they're attending 100% of the time and we don't really have an issue. But think about like a possibility though. So like a possible situation would be they attend 1 second out of every 1 minute. That would show that our data is saying like, yeah, he's attending really well, but in reality, he's hardly attending at all. So that would be a possibility where the data could be misrepresented. So that means we would not want to use partial interval recording for that behavior.
Okay.
So yeah, Amanda's asking, so you would want which measurement for attending? I'm going to flip that back on everybody here, including you, Lillian. What do you think would be a more valid measurement for attending?
I feel like it depends on the situation because in a classroom setting, teachers aren't going to be able to watch the learner.
Yeah, how about like
100% of the
let's
time?
assume we have all the time in the world to collect data. What are some possibilities that would be valid?
Duration.
Duration absolutely would be valid because we're capturing like how long it's occurring for. What else?
I guess you could do momentary time sampling, but I feel like you're going to run into that. It's kind of the same issue with partial.
Yeah, you could do momentary time sampling, and it would be better than partial because like momentary time sampling is a little bit less sensitive. Where partial, if it occurs for even a second, it's like, yep, we're marking the whole interval good. Where it's like momentary, if they're only occurring like if it's only occurring like 1 second out of every 60 seconds, then the likelihood that 1 second is going to line up at the end of the interval is probably going to even out and show a very low number. So I think momentary would absolutely be good. And then anything else?
I mean, I guess you could do frequency, but that's going to be a hard one to like you would have to have a good definition for what attending looks like.
Yeah, I don't think
To do
frequency
that
would
one.
be that great here
Yeah.
actually. So if we think about attending, like, it's usually like a longer duration behavior, and it's
Hmm.
not always going to occur around like the same amount of time per instance. Like sometimes they might be attending for like 30 seconds at a time. Sometimes it might be like 10-minute blocks. Sometimes it might be 5 minutes. But those like amounts, like the durations are going to vary across time. So that's what makes frequency not so great for that. It's like if we have like 10 attend like think about like we have like attending occurred 5 times. Like what does that mean? Do we have 5 1 second attendings or did we have like
Right.
5 10-minute attendings? And those are very different things. So in that case, we would call that invalid because it does not capture relevant dimension. We have that possibility where it's like, yeah, he attended once, and that was it. But then when you look at it, it's like, oh no, he attended for an hour and a half straight. Like that was awesome. So like we have that possibility where it's gonna like misrepresent the data, so that's what makes it invalid.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice is like think about this question. If the measurement changes, will the client receive quality of life improvements? If the answer is no, then we're not taking the right data and we need to switch up our measurement procedure. Cool. Any more questions on that or like any examples that are on your mind that you want to talk through?
No, I think it's just gonna come down to really trying to break up the definitions when it comes to when it comes to the questions.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that I know some people are saying they would use whole interval um for the attending.
Hmm.
But would that lead to some of the same problems as partial interval too?
Well, let's think about it. So, if we're using whole interval recording, let's keep the same kind of thing, run through the scenario, 1 minute intervals. So, how do we collect data on that?
It would have to be that the attending for the entire minute.
Good. Yeah, the 10 for the entire minute, then we mark a plus. Anything less, we'd mark a minus. What do you think that's going to do to our data set? It's going to or underestimate?
Um, whole usually underestimates.
Good. Yeah, whole is going to underestimate our duration of behavior. And would that be an issue? Would that ruin the validity for attending?
Yes, because if they're attending for like 59 seconds of the minute, but not for that last second, then it would be a no.
Yeah, so it would be a little bit. So this does produce what we call as a measurement artifact, but it doesn't necessarily make this invalid. So if it's showing that like less of the behavior is occurring, then it's kind of like setting a higher standard for increase. So like not we're not only looking at like is attending increasing overall in duration, we're seeing like is attending occurring for like these longer 1 minute periods of time consecutively. So it might not be a bad thing that we're underestimating it because it's going to undercut, but if it shows that it's not improving as much, that gets us to work harder, and like when we're actually are successful, we'll see those bigger improvements. So in that case, it would remain as a valid measurement with the underestimation because it's okay if it underreports. Just we wouldn't want it to overreport when it's not actually occurring very much. And then if you go through those presentations again, like we have those very clear rules on each of these. So for whole interval recording, we're going to use it for continuous behaviors targeted for increase. So attending fits that really well, where it's a continuous behavior we want it to occur for longer periods of time overall. And we're targeting it for increase. We want to see more of it. So both of those things have to be present for us to select whole interval confidently.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good on that. The last thing was just, I think we've talked about this a couple of times with verbal behavior and point-to-point correspondence with formal similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know I've watched the video a couple of times, and I think I even asked you questions about it when we were in the live stream for it. But just trying to dissect on the exam when there's those questions with like the impure tax and the impure mans, but there's, another verbal operand over there that might be a better choice for us to use. Trying to dissect those questions, I guess.
Yeah, I guess like one thing I can point out here is that like point-to-point correspondence and formal similarity are only relevant to duplex and codex.
Right.
So if you're looking at like a like an impure tact, then like these things just don't matter at all, because and if you're looking at like an impure echoic, I don't think that exists. I don't think that's a thing.
No, yeah, I think it's just the two.
Yeah, and like impure textual or impure transcription, like I don't think those are things.
Okay.
So yeah, I think this is a non-issue. Just because the things that pure and impure are related to don't have point-to-point and formal similarity related to.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. I just don't want. I'm trying to prepare for as many tricks as I can.
For sure. I think you're pretty well equipped, Lillian. And you're testing the 30th?
The 30th, yeah.
Cool. So a week from tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you're in pretty good shape. I think you're gonna crush it.
Thanks, appreciate it.
For sure. Any last minute thoughts I can help you out with?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for hopping on. This is super fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. My pleasure. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and wrap up our Bonanza. I know it's been really fun, but thanks everyone for coming. I had a blast today. This was a great time. Hold on, let me just check something. Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, we're going to wrap this up a little bit. Let me just see where we're at in chat. The next Bonanza, we'll probably do these, I plan on doing these like every like 2 to 4 weeks or so. So probably in like 2 to 4 weeks for the next one. I'll keep you guys posted. My schedule's a little chaotic, so it kind of just like depends when I'm free and things are feeling good. But yeah, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Definitely like brighten up my day to have you all here. The next mock, we're working on it. It was a little bit slower this week than expected. So my next thing that I'm working on is our mini mock makeover. I really wanted to get that out today, but it's definitely going to be like middle of next week that we're going to get that full makeover out. So the mini mocks will look prettier, and we're going to have the 2 other mini mocks added to that. And then the full mock is probably going to be, we are working on another full mock right now. It's probably about 3 to 4 weeks away, just to set my expectations at a reasonable level. So stay tuned for those though. And we've got another project on top of the mini mock makeover and the new mini mock, and the new mock that I'm actually really excited about. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, the new project that I'm working on, that's going to be tailored towards 6th edition. The new mock is also going to be tailored towards 6th edition too. But honestly, like 5th or 6th edition, all the materials are going to be really helpful for wherever you're at. So if you're testing on 6, a 5th edition mock exam is still going to be most of the stuff you still need to know. And if you're taking the 6th edition, then 5th is going to be good enough too. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming. Always great spending the Sunday afternoon with y'all. You guys definitely make my days brighter, so I appreciate you all being here. Hope this was useful and you learned a few things. If you'd like to purchase the notes, again, you can do that on the shop. And then follow everything Understanding Behavior on our link tree. Yeah, hopefully I should have a little bit more time, energy, and focus for you guys in the next coming weeks. So I'm really excited to get these extra projects coming out soon. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. If you're testing soon, good luck. Keep me posted. Crush it as best you can. If not, we're here to support you. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks, Eileen. That would be awesome. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care.